We are looking at a super basic how-to on urine tests. Now we're talking really basic urine tests, but this applies if you need to get a urine sample to take to your vet. So basically what you want to do is, as I've got here, you want a guinea pig in a clean plastic bottomed tub. And what you want to do is wait for them to wee. Now, as you can see, no one's in here because Annie was in there for about 2 minutes and she weed already, so she's back in there. So obviously, because you need to know, you might need to know which pig, Dorothy, come back. You might need to know which pig has potentially a problem. Oh, good boy, Percy. So you can see he's done a nice wee just there, so he can now come out. Well done. And I know whose is whose because I've written their names. They've got their little test stick and a sterile syringe ready. So I know that that's Annie's urine and that's Percy's urine. So now we're just waiting on Dorothy and Tilly. So what happens when we've got a urine sample? We open up the syringe. This was sealed until I lined these up, so it is nice and sterile. And you want to just dip it in to the puddle. You don't need to suck up a whole syringe, but the more you can get, the better, especially if you need to take a sample to the vets. If you need to take a sample to the vet, try and at least get a full mil, so a full syringe. Here we go, look, 1 mil. You want at least a full one of them. If you've got a bigger syringe, a 5 mil syringe, and you can get a good sample off the pig and you're able to suck up anything up to 5 mil, go for it. And basically, the more urine there is, the more they're going to be able to spin it down, see what's going on in it. But for the purposes of here, we've got basically a mystery stain in the cage. So there's basically what appeared to be a pinky urine patch on the towel under the fleece. Now, it may just be staining, it may just be a kind of very early stage oxidization, but because it was pinky, we just want to rule out the potential that someone's got blood in their urine. And that's nice and easy to do if you've got time on your hands. Hello, sweetie. Time on your hands and you've got a sterile syringe and a really simple reagent urine test strip, which of course we have here. Any wheeze yet, Dorothy? This is where all the time is spent. So let's get Percy's. Hello, Tilly, darling. Hello, sweet, good girl. So I'm just going to get a syringe, open that up. There we go. Okay, and you've got a lovely little puddle there. So you just want to dip the syringe in and suck up the urine. So that's a really good sample there from Percy. Now, the next thing to do, while keeping a hawk eye, watch on the others, is to actually drip the urine out of the syringe onto each little test square. So we shall do that now. So I'm going to pop the little test stick in each box, just so that it doesn't matter if I spill. So let's test Annie's first. So we'll go drip, 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 drip. You can see we're just putting a blob on each. There we go. Okay, so now we need to wait. Oh, perfection. Thank you, Dorothy. Once they've weed, get them out as soon as you can. Yeah, once they weed, get them out as soon as you can, because otherwise their fur will begin to suck up the urine. You'll end up with a soggy pig and no urine sample. Yep, it's happened to me quite a few times. So Dorothy's just done a nice little wee there. Just find the best little puddle. Just get rid of the air bubbles. It can help sometimes to just tip the box up a little bit. There we go. So that is... Phone's struggling to focus. There we go. So that's Dorothy's. We'll come to hers. And we'll come to Percy's in just a second. So we're just waiting for Tilly, who, bless her, she's just sat completely baffled. Good girl. Okay, so we should be able to get the first readings off this now. So as you can see, this is the bottle that contains all the test sticks. And these are the readings, the comparisons. So you've got the times just here when you're, the optimal reading time is. So after 30 seconds after applying to the urine, then you look at, then you'll be able to read the glucose accurately and the bilirubin. After 40 seconds, the ketones, 45 seconds specific gravity, and then after 60 seconds, you'll be able to check for levels of blood, the pH, protein. I think that's urobilin, but don't quote me on that. Nitrites, or is it nitrates? I get confused because we kept fish. And then after 120 seconds, you check for leukocytes, which are basically white blood cells. So what we want to do is pick this up. We're ready to read all of them now. Okay, whose wise idea was it to put this in here? There we go. Okay, so the bottom one, glucose, is quite clearly reading negative. It's not green or brown in any way. That's good. Bilirubin matches the negative, which is good. Ketones matches negative, which is good. Specific gravity is mid-scale, somewhere between those two, so that's absolutely perfect. Now, blood. This is an interesting one. So what have we got? So ketone, it's quite difficult to use one-handed. Ketones, specific blood. Now, this is reading that Annie has got, as you can see, off the scale blood in her urine, which you can't see when you actually look at the urine sample. So it's possible that this pink patch came from Annie. Then we look at pH, it should be alkaline. Yeah, that looks good. Protein, you want that to be negative, and that's negative. Urobilin, that's negative, or rather normal. Nitrites is normal, and I think leukocytes look quite a lot like that one, don't they? Sort of in between. So potentially a few leukocytes in there. So that's how we read Annie's urine, and she would be on the list to investigate more closely for further signs of bladder issues.